UTC hosts a conference on the 19th century journalism during the Civil War.
We take a look at news in a global perspective.
And we take a look back at the Pride Parade. I'm Olivia Brown.
And I'm Jake Taylor. Your news starts now. This year marks the 25th annual symposium of the 19th century press, the Civil War, and free expression.
Communication Department Head Dr. Jack Zebluk explains the annual symposium's importance to the university.
When I first got here as West Chair of Excellence, two of the other faculty members were interested in history. So we sat there and said, okay, we're in the middle of the most important Civil War area west of Virginia, and why wouldn't we emphasize history here? And so since that time, this conference has been a very well-known journalism history conference, and here we are about to have the 25th annual conference.
This conference really is a legacy not just to David Saxman, but to this institution and its mission locally and its commitment to scholarship, teaching, and service. And really it represents the whole of what a university is about. I'm delighted that I'm still able to do it. I'm delighted that we have a really huge following. I mean, more than 400 people have spoken at the conference and delivered more than 800 papers. The conference has resulted in 7 books, which you can see here. There's nothing like it that we do on this campus, and it puts us on the map every year, and that map continues to grow. This is Chattanooga's conference. This is the 25th time. It has always been open to the public. As long as you're interested in the Civil War, as long as you're interested in the 19th century and this era, I think you will enjoy the conference.
UTC will not participate in the outsourcing of campus maintenance sources. UT President Joe DiPerito asked each campus to review the proposed cost for outsourcing the service. The proposal from Jones Lang LaSalle was higher than UTC's annual cost for services by $250,000.
It's that time of year again where students can register for spring 2018. This year, though, UTC has some new cool additions to their curriculum. Audio podcasting has been added to the communications roster as a special topic. Tune in next week for a feature on William Robert Davis, the professor of podcasting. And remember, registration opens November 6th.
The UTC Theater Company presents a play that takes audiences on an astronomical journey. Silent Sky is about an astronomer, Henrietta Leavitt, who was working on measuring the universe at a time when women weren't allowed to look in telescopes. Theater experts say the playwright Lauren Gunderson is the most produced American playwright in the 2017-2018 season. Tickets can be purchased at the UTC Fine Arts Center box office or on the phone at 425-4269 or online at the UTC Theater Company website. Admission is $12 for adults and $10 for students with a valid student ID. The play runs from November 14th to the 18th with a matinee performance on the 18th.
More cannons were moved, but this time from the Fort Wood neighborhood. These bigger guns are located at the Haas Law offices. The two 30-pounders got their name from the actual weight of the cannonballs. The barrels were removed first, each weighed 4,300 pounds. The carriages were moved also. The cannons are pointed towards Missionary Ridge because that's how far the cannonballs would have traveled once fired. Work finished on the cannons at Patton House, and they are now back in place.
A UTC alumni is coming to speak about racism, anti-Semitism, and neo-Nazism. Richard Boeing will give his lecture next week. It is called The Anatomy of a Gang Investigation. It is about a gang known as the Aryan Brotherhood of Texas. He will discuss his time working with the Federal Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives. The lecture will take place November 7th at 5:30 p.m. in Derthick 101.
UTC provides an abundance of information about stalking, but the definition remains in the shadows. Chuck Cantrell is the Associate Vice Chancellor for the University Marketing and Communication. Cantrell says if the action of the suspect puts someone in fear or makes them feel threatened, that is seen as a potential case of stalking. This includes continued contact after someone asks to end all communication. In 2015, UTC reported 4 cases of stalking. Then last year, the number ballooned to 28. Cantrell says the increase is the result of the change in definition of stalking.
And so I think that that is a factor of 2 different issues. I think that the definition of stalking was changed a little bit, and so it made a much broader category for crime reporting. But also UTC has been making a very concerted effort to get students and faculty and staff to report crimes.
UTC recommends reporting to city police or a Title IX coordinator, as well as documenting anything that might seem trivial. If you'd like more information, visit utc.edu and further your knowledge of stalking.
Well, Olivia, we've certainly had some nice fall weather this week.
We sure have, and I think it's going to continue. Let's check with our Jay Rivera.
Thanks, guys. Today we'll see a few showers throughout the day, with the high reaching 72 and the low reaching down to the 60s. On Saturday, you can expect partly cloudy skies with a high of 75 and a low of 61. Then on Sunday and Monday, we'll see a little bit of sunshine with partly cloudy skies with the highs of on the upper 70s and lows in the low 60s. So get out and enjoy the beautiful fall weather while you can. Back to you guys.
A lot has happened around the globe this week. Our Joseph Dicus is here to share a look at what is happening in world news. Joseph?
Thanks, guys. This week in world news, further allegations of sexual assault continue to plague Hollywood. The Mueller investigation finally results in indictments, but we begin with the terrorist attack in New York City. 29-year-old Sayfullo Saipov reportedly printed a Home Depot truck and used it to plow through a crowd along a bike path. He then jumped out of the truck, yelled a religious saying, and tried to run. The rampage ended when a police officer shot Saipov in the abdomen. He killed 8 people and injured 12 more. The first round of charges have been publicly filed on allegations of the Trump campaign officials colluding with Russian leaders. The former campaign advisor Paul Manafort and consultant Rick Gates were charged with 12 different crimes. Those include conspiracy against the United States, among others. Also indicted was former Trump campaign intern George Papadopoulos. He pleaded guilty to lying to federal agents about meeting with Russian contacts to discuss, quote, dirt on Hillary Clinton, end quote. Oscar-winning actor Kevin Spacey is the latest celebrity accused of sexual assault. Spacey allegedly forced himself on a 14-year-old at a party in 1986. Spacey was 26 at the time. Spacey said he was, quote, beyond horrified, end quote, to hear the story and tweeted, quote, I honestly do not remember the encounter. It would have been over 30 years ago. But if I did behave as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apologies, end quote. In his apology, Spacey stated that he now chooses to, quote, now live as a gay man, quote. Spacey received backlash from the LGBT community for trying to manipulate the situation by coming out. Since the initial allegation came out, at least 11 more people have accused Spacey of sexually harassing them, including 8 members of the production team of House of Cards. Spacey is the star of House of Cards on Netflix. Netflix announced that its Emmy-nominated series would end after its 6th season. Netflix later suspended its production of the final season indefinitely. Apple rolled out software update iOS 11.1 this week. The update brings some new fixes to the newest version of their software, which was released last month, as well as hundreds of new emojis, such as the vomiting emoji, the emoji that appears to be cussing, and a mind blow emoji. iOS 11.1 is available for installment on all mobile Apple products. And that is all I have for you guys in this week's of World News. Back to you, Olivia.
Thanks, Joseph. You can find rainbows, flags, and more at Chattanooga's Pride Parade. Our Haley White has a story.
Many people gathered at the Sculpture Fields to celebrate the annual Pride Parade. After being set back, the parade happened this past Sunday and the turnout was amazing. Hosted by Tennessee Pride, the parade consisted of sexualities of all kind and celebrated the LGBT+ community in Chattanooga. Artist Adice had some words to say about why they gathered for Pride.
It's really important because if we didn't have Pride, there would be a lot more closeted people, because Pride encourages people to be themselves and come out and have fun.
There were many merchants and local businesses, such as TVA and the Green Tambourine. There was also a booth by Health and Free Tennessee, which helps promote sexual health and reproductive freedom. They also had an after-parade show, which showcased some local bands and a drag race. Christina McPeak, the head of the Pride, had a couple of words to share with everyone.
I think it is incredibly important. It gives our community an opportunity to join of all ages and people who don't normally see each other. They all get to come together and kind of celebrate our community.
Despite the weather being cold, there was still a wonderful turnout. The parade had many sponsors and was conjoined with Chattanooga City Celebration and Cyclovia Festival. After the parade, people were asked to stay for the Mural and Arts Expo. You can find out more at the TennesseeValleyPride.com.
Well, Jake, the Mocs football team seems to have gotten a second wind.
Yeah, that's right. Let's head over to our Emma Howland and Haley White.
Well, Emma, the Mocs fall sports will be ending, but the winter sports are about on the horizon.
That's right, Haley. So let's see what our Mocs have been up to.
Chattanooga soccer finished with their season with a 2-0 loss against UNCG in their quarterfinal round of the Southern Conference Tournament. Honors went to freshman Chloe Arnold, who was named Southern Conference Freshman of the Year, and sophomore Jordan Mueller made the SoCon All-Conference second team. This finishes their 2017 season with a record of 5 wins, 10 ties, and 4 losses.
Well, the Mocs squeezed out a win on the road against a top 10 ranked team this past weekend. Our Joseph Dykes has the highlights.
It's been a dismal train wreck of a season for the Mocs this year, but last week, UTC scored maybe the biggest upset of the college football season when they took down number 8 Samford in a thriller in Montgomery. After giving up over 400 yards rushing to Citadel last week, the Mocs defense clamped down on Samford's ground attack, limiting the Bulldogs to only 34 yards rushing. The defense also shined when it came to forcing turnovers, as they harassed Samford into 3 interceptions and a whopping 4 fumbles. On offense, the Mocs had a slightly tougher time, giving the ball away 4 times themselves and committing 12 penalties. However, they did do enough to give themselves a 20-7 lead going to the fourth quarter, that they then proceeded to lose in less than 6 minutes. But trailing 21-20 with 2.5 minutes left, Cole Copeland led a final drive that led to a game-winning field goal by Victor Olmo, who was named the SoCon Special Teams Player of the Week. UTC looks to win their second straight at Wofford this Saturday.
Basketball is back, Chattanooga. Men's basketball kick off the year with an exhibition game tomorrow night at 5 p.m. against Francis Marion before starting the regular season at Wyoming next week. Mocs are under new head coach Lamont Paris as they look to bounce back after a lackluster season last year. The first regular season home game will be against Hiwassee on the 16th. On the women's side, the Lady Mocs look to continue their SoCon dominance by getting their 6th consecutive SoCon tournament championship, not to mention their 6th NCAA tournament appearance, starting the regular season on the road against Green Bay before coming home to face UCF on the 13th. Stay tuned to Mocs News for highlights all season long.
Well, the World Series wrapped up this week, and it took all 7 games, and what 7 games it was. But the Houston Astros are your 2017 World Series champions. With a dominant performance over the LA Dodgers in a winner-take-all game, the Astros scored in the first inning thanks to an error by the LA pitcher Yu Darvish. Then in the top of the second, the Astros would score 2 more from World Series MVP George Stringer as he hit his 5th home run of the series. The Dodgers would score in the 6th inning from Jack Peterson, but it would not start the rally the Dodgers needed. The Astros claimed their first World Series title in franchise history. Well, that will wrap up this week in sports.
Back to you guys.
More big names are connected to sexual harassment allegations. NPR's Senior Vice President and Chief of News, Michael Orzquez, has been placed on leave. He is accused of sexual harassment from his time at the New York Times in the late 1990s and a junior NPR employee in 2015.
The world's second biggest fashion retailer opens in Chattanooga this week. H&M opened its doors at Hamilton Place with a celebration. Around 600 customers lined up as early as 5 a.m. for a chance to win gift cards ranging from $30 to $300. The store is 23,000 feet in Hamilton Place and is what CBL and Associates call a game changer. Hamilton Place also plans to add 2 new restaurants before Thanksgiving. Stay tuned to Mox News as we continue to keep you updated. Well, Jay told us we're going to have some beautiful weather this weekend, Jake.
Yeah, it looks that way, Olivia. Let's check out this week's Chattanooga with Carlton Smith.
Well, The God of Thunder is back in theaters. Thor Ragnarok hits theaters today. Ratings are overall positive so far, but you can head over to our Facebook page to see what our Jake Taylor has to say about Thor Ragnarok. Want to party in a unique place? Sculpture Fields at Montague Park will host a party in the park from 8 to 11 on Friday night. Guests can enjoy drinks, dancing, light shows, and music from DJ 1900 and the Chattanooga Underground electric music scene. Tickets are $20 in advance and $25 at the door. And it's that time of the year again. This weekend you'll see paddles hit the water for the annual Head of the Hooch Regatta. Boats will hit the water at 8 a.m. on Saturday morning, and spectators can view the action from several locations along the Tennessee River. The race will feature more than 2,000 boats, and competitors will row 3.1-mile courses that end at Ross's Landing. Art, music, unique vendors, games, and more. Are you intrigued? Well, if you are, you should head over to the 15th annual Normalpalooza. It benefits Normal Park Museum Magnet School. Admission to get in is free. Be sure to stop by and support local education. And what would a weekend be without a trip to the Chattanooga Market? This week, vendors will offer a variety of chili ranging from hot to mild and weird to traditional. You can also expect to see chili dogs, chili burgers, and Frito pies, and much more. So stop by, get your chili fix, and shop local. That'll do it for this week in Chattanooga. We'll see you next week.
That does it for this week's edition of Mox News. Thank you for joining us. Check out our videos uploaded throughout the week, and don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and follow us on social media. We can be found on Twitter and Instagram at Mox News UTC and on Facebook as Mox News.
Have a great weekend from all of us here at Mox News.